Welcome to Microbe Mania. Hey, microbe explorers. If you're ready to dive into the fascinating world of microbes, you found the right place. Microbe Mania is your go-to channel for all tiny but mighty, from bacteria and fungi to viruses and beyond. Get ready for mind-blowing facts, super cool experiments, and everything you need to know about the microscopic world. So grab your magnifying glasses and let's get into the mania of microbes. Like what you see, hit subscribe and join the microbial revolution. Hey everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to click subscribe if you want more daily updates on Microbe Mania, where we are going to study about interview questions and answers of microbiology in pharmaceutical industry.
Good morning, class. Today, we're going to dive into an essential concept in the pharmaceutical industry: data integrity. Now, you may wonder, what is data integrity, and why is it so critical in the context of pharmaceuticals? Well, let's explore that together. What is data integrity? In simple terms, data integrity refers to the accuracy, consistency, and reliability of data throughout its entire life cycle. This means from the moment data is first collected to when it's stored, processed, and eventually used, it must remain uncompromised, accurate, and trustworthy. In the pharmaceutical industry, this is particularly important. The safety and efficacy of the drugs we take are based on data that informs everything from clinical trials to production and even distribution. So, ensuring the integrity of this data is not just a good practice, it's absolutely crucial for patient safety and regulatory compliance. Why is data integrity important in pharmaceuticals? Let's break this down a bit. Regulatory compliance: pharmaceutical companies are highly regulated due to the direct impact their products have on public health. Regulatory bodies like the FDA in the United States, the EMA in Europe, and many others set strict guidelines to ensure that drugs are safe and effective. This includes regulations like Good Manufacturing Practices (GMP), Good Laboratory Practices (GLP), FDA 21 CFR Part 11, which focuses on electronic records and signatures. These regulations require that data is accurate, complete, and reliable. Without proper data integrity, companies can face penalties, recalls, or even the suspension of their drug approval process. Patient safety: the most significant reason for ensuring data integrity is to protect patient health. Imagine a clinical trial where data is inaccurately recorded, or a manufacturing process that isn't properly documented. This could result in drugs being labeled as safe or effective when they're actually not. The consequences could be harmful side effects or even fatal outcomes for patients. Efficacy of drugs in the pharmaceutical industry: drugs must be proven effective before they reach consumers. If the data backing the clinical trials or production quality is flawed, the drug might not work as intended. This means inaccurate data could lead to ineffective treatments being sold, which is dangerous. Quality assurance: throughout the manufacturing process, from raw materials to the final product, data integrity is necessary to ensure that the drugs produced are consistent in quality. Without proper documentation, we can't guarantee that every batch of a drug is the same in terms of potency and safety. Key phases of data integrity in the pharmaceutical process. First up is the research and development phase. This is where it all starts. Pharmaceutical companies gather a lot of data here on drug formulations, dosing regimens, and the effectiveness of drugs during preclinical and clinical trials. All this data forms the foundation for a drug's safety and efficacy claims. It's crucial that this data is recorded accurately because any loss, corruption, or falsification can lead to invalid conclusions. And guess what? If that happens, we could end up approving unsafe drugs for human use, which obviously could have serious consequences. So, during R&D, we need to ensure that the data is complete, accurate, and reliable. Next, we move into the manufacturing and production phase. Here, data integrity is key to making sure each step of the production cycle, from sourcing raw materials to packaging the final product, is monitored properly. The data collected during this phase includes important factors like temperature control during storage and transport, equipment calibration to make sure machines are functioning properly, Batch testing results to ensure the product meets the required standards. If any of this data is compromised, you could end up with unsafe or ineffective drugs. For instance, if the temperature wasn't properly recorded during transport, the drug could be damaged, impacting its quality. Once the drug is manufactured, it needs to go through quality control and testing. Here, the drug undergoes rigorous testing to ensure it meets standards for potency, purity, and quality. Now, this is where even small discrepancies can have big consequences. For example, if a batch of drugs is being stability tested over time, the data has to be accurate to make sure the drug maintains its potency and effectiveness. If this data is altered or misreported, we risk releasing substandard drugs that may not perform as expected. Think about the serious implications of this on patient health. This is why data integrity is so crucial. Finally, we have the distribution and post-market surveillance phase. After the drug is released into the market, pharmaceutical companies continue to track its performance. This includes monitoring adverse events like side effects reported by healthcare providers. In addition, data from the distribution network is important to ensure the drugs are stored and transported correctly. Imagine a scenario where there's a mistake in tracking the drug during distribution. Incorrect labeling or mishandling of the drug could damage the product or, worse, make it unsafe for patients. That's why accurate data at this stage is just as important as during manufacturing and testing. Now, let's talk about some challenges we face when trying to maintain data integrity. Manual errors. Many pharmaceutical processes still rely on manual data entry, which can introduce human error. Simple mistakes like entering the wrong data or forgetting to record a key piece of information could mess up the entire product lifecycle. It's critical that staff is well trained and follows strict protocols to avoid these errors. Cybersecurity risks. As we move toward digital systems for storing and processing data, we expose ourselves to new risks like cyber attacks. Hacking or data breaches could compromise critical data, which might have severe consequences for patient safety and regulatory compliance. Legacy systems. Some pharmaceutical companies still use outdated paper-based records or old electronic systems that might not be able to meet modern data integrity standards. These systems are prone to errors, data loss, and inefficiencies. Transitioning to validated electronic systems like LIMS Laboratory Information Management Systems or MES Manufacturing Execution Systems is a big step forward, but it can be a costly and time-consuming process. Regulatory audits. Pharmaceutical companies regularly undergo regulatory audits by agencies like the FDA or the EMA. These audits check if the company is maintaining proper data integrity. If the company fails to meet regulatory standards during these audits, it could face penalties or product recalls. Now that we understand the challenges, let's look at the best practices to maintain data integrity in the pharmaceutical industry. Electronic systems with built-in validation. Pharmaceutical companies should adopt automated systems that are validated and capable of securely handling electronic records. These systems must be designed to prevent unauthorized modifications. Features like audit trails, which track who made changes to data and when, are essential for ensuring accountability. Training and SOPs standard operating procedures. Staff needs to be thoroughly trained in best practices for data handling, how to record, store, and secure data correctly. SOPs standard operating procedures should be in place to ensure that every step of data management is done consistently and compliantly. This reduces the risk of errors and ensures that data integrity is maintained. Data backup and redundancy. Data should be regularly backed up to prevent loss due to system failures. Storing data in multiple secure locations adds an extra layer of protection. This ensures that if one system fails, the data remains intact and accessible. Access control and authentication. Implementing role-based access control ensures that only authorized individuals can access sensitive data. This reduces the risk of unauthorized tampering. Additionally, secure authentication protocols should be used to verify the identity of anyone accessing critical data. Next, audit trails and monitoring. Maintaining audit trails is crucial for tracking any changes to the data. This helps identify who made the change, when it occurred, and why it was made. Having this transparency ensures that any discrepancies can be traced back and addressed. It's also important to conduct regular internal audits to ensure compliance with data integrity standards. Conclusion. To wrap things up, data integrity is at the heart of everything we do in the pharmaceutical industry. Ensuring the accuracy, consistency, and reliability of data at every stage from research and development to manufacturing, testing, and distribution ensures that the products we bring to market are safe and effective. By implementing automated systems, training staff, ensuring secure data handling, and conducting regular audits, pharmaceutical companies can protect patient health, comply with regulatory standards, and continue to provide high-quality products. Now, I'd like to open the floor to any questions. How do you think data integrity impacts the future of pharmaceuticals? Or do you have any thoughts on the challenges we discussed? Feel free to share. If you enjoy my content and want to stay updated on new uploads, please consider subscribing to my channel.